On 2nd February 2020, I had a dream. On 2/2/2020, the Lord showed me a dream about the coronavirus, and I'd like to share this dream. I've written it down so that I don't leave anything out. In the dream setup, I was working in a restaurant, and this restaurant was in a foreign country. I came to understand as I went on into the dream that this restaurant was in China. In the restaurant, I posed as a manager. In the dream, I was a manager in the restaurant. I had colleagues, I had an assistant manager, and I was working in the restaurant. As I was in the restaurant, I could see guests who were seated, eating, having drinks. But I sensed that there were two types of guests. There were guests and there were those who seemed like they were monitoring something. And then I saw staff coming in and out, going in and out of the kitchen, serving food and doing, your normal thing, what you would see, the normal activity you would see in a restaurant. I saw that going on. And then as I was standing, I saw a man come in, and this man seemed like a senior person, like somebody who has some authority, like someone who works in an army or something. And this person had a container. He had a clear container with some white substance inside the container, like some white powder, very conch white color. And he held it with his hand and he walked past me. He went inside the kitchen. When he went inside the kitchen, I was able to see what was going on the other side. Though there was like a door, but it's not a full door, like those half doors we have in old restaurants. It was something like that, half a door. Yeah, so he went in. I could see what was happening on the other side. So he went, and I could not see only because the door was a half door, but I just could see. You know what happens in dreams, you just see through walls. So that is what happened. I could see where this man went. So he didn't speak to anybody. He just went inside the kitchen, right onto where the herbal teas are placed on a shelf, and he placed the white substance right at the center of the herbal teas. There were a couple of herbal teas. Went and placed the substance there, or the container with the white powder in it, and then he left the restaurant. After that, I saw now the chefs cooking, and everybody in the kitchen was Chinese. Some of the people in the restaurant were Chinese. I could see some black people, some mixed race in the restaurant. And so I saw the chefs cooking, the Chinese chefs cooking. And then I saw two people, one man and one woman, who seemed like they were the bosses or the head chefs or the owners of the restaurant or something. I did not recognize them from anywhere. I did not recognize anyone from anywhere apart from about two faces I saw in the restaurant. And then now these two people, this man and this woman, called one of the chefs. The chef came. They asked for a plate of food. The man plated food on a plate, and then he went over to where the white powder had been kept. He took a pinch, a very small pinch, just how you would pinch your salt when you're just putting on your one egg, a boiled egg, that much. He pinched some of the white powder and then mixed with the food. I saw him mixing with the food. I saw him mixing with the food with his bare hands. And then this man and woman stood there and called one of the employees. And this employee who was called is an employee of the lower rank. It's like a cleaner or something. The staff came. When he came, the woman took the food from the plate with her hands, and she fed this man. As soon as this man swallowed the food, he did not last 1 minute. The man fell dead. He died, like poof, died, fell and died within a minute. And I was shocked. I was so shocked, and I'm telling you, I can even feel the terror right now, the terror that I had in the dream. As soon as he fell dead, I saw the man now go out to call for people, and there were people who were in waiting. They came with a body bag, a black body bag. They placed the body of the man who had died inside the body bag, zipped him up, and carried him outside the restaurant, through the kitchen door outside the restaurant, and there was a van waiting for them outside. They threw the body of the man behind at the back of the van and they drove off. Now in the dream I could see them driving off. I could see it was at night. In the restaurant it was during the day, but the activities that are going on are happening at night. Like in the kitchen it's at night, outside it's at night. And I saw them leave, just drive away into some place. And I saw them going up the hill. I saw them going down the hill, and they reached this place, which was like a designated place for bodies to be thrown, because there was so much terror in that area. And they threw that body. They just tossed it down, and the body rolled over into what looked like a cliff, and it fell all the way down. And then immediately my vision went back. My dream, I started now seeing back in the restaurant. And in this restaurant there was another room. I could see another room, and in this room it was very dark, and also the same activity was happening. Actually, what I think in the setting was this activity was either happening in the kitchen or in the dark room. I'm unable to remember that very well, but I think it was happening in both places. Like, this was also taking place in the other room, the other dark room, and it was also taking place in the kitchen. Or there were two kitchens, but I was only able to see one kitchen, and I could see the other room as well, and the activity was also happening in the other place, in the other room that was also dark. After these other men came back, as soon as they came back, this woman and the man, the Chinese man and woman, called for another guy. And this cook, the chef, went back to the pot, served another plate of food, went back to the white powder, pinched another pinch, poured and mixed on the sprinkled and mixed with the food. Another staff was called in. He went in. The same thing happened. He was fed. He ate the food, and within a minute, the man fell dead. Poof! Just fell dead. Like, he died. He just died. And as soon as he fell dead, these guys they were not even scared. They were like, okay, somebody else just died. Next. Yes, I mean that. It was that terrifying. Soon after this man fell, the man went outside. One of the Chinese men with the woman, he went out and called the guys who had taken the other body out. They came back, body bag, put the man inside, zipped him up, carried him out. And I'm there and I'm looking and I'm like, no, this is not happening. And I was so scared, and I was so terrified, and I was so disgusted, and I was so disgusted. And I looked over to the restaurant, and the guests were just eating. But I realized there were these people I mentioned earlier, that there were guys who I think were monitoring. And I realized for sure these guys are monitoring, and they were monitoring the activity that is going on in the kitchen, just making sure that dead bodies are passing through the restaurant and actually people are dying. I had had enough by now, and I remember seeing them doing this to people, but it was happening so fast that in my understanding they had killed very, very many people, because back to where they are throwing the bodies, I knew this is the designated place that they are throwing the bodies. It seemed like they were going up the hill, and then they would throw the bodies down to a valley. Yeah, they would just toss them. And I just had a knowing that it's not just one body. Those are not just two bodies. There are many bodies which are laying dead there. They had been killed by these people who are poisoning their food. And then I started refusing. I started saying no. And I called one of the supervisors and said, hey, we cannot allow this to continue happening. They're killing people. Let us stop this. This cannot continue happening. And I went inside the kitchen and I'm trying to stop them. I'm trying to tell them, no, stop doing this. And as I am talking to them, I saw some other Chinese guys seated in the kitchen, and they're watching TV. And as they watch TV, they are watching terrible news. They're watching news of dead people. Like the TV is announcing how people are dying. And here I'm like, wait, that is exactly what you guys are doing. It is you guys who are killing those people. But so there are those people monitoring on TV, making sure that, just monitoring, seeing the news, whatever is being reported, and there are these other people in the restaurant who are monitoring that this activity is actually going on. And I was like, no, don't do this. You cannot continue doing this. You cannot I command you, and I'm telling you to stop doing this. And as I continued, I told the supervisor, no, we need to stop them. We need to stop them. He went and started talking to them, but it's like he was given money, and he took the money, he put it in his pocket, and he came back to me, and it's like he's trying to tell me, oh, they're going to stop. They will stop. But I'm like, no, they have to stop now. But even as I'm talking, people are still coming in. People are still being killed. They're still being fed this poison. And they're still falling dead. They're still being carried in body bags and taken down to that valley. And as they were doing this, I remember also on the TV there were children. I remember seeing children dying. I remember seeing children crying because mothers were dying. Actually, I remember seeing, oh my God, I remember seeing people falling dead on the streets. And I remember seeing children crying next to their mothers on TV, the TV that the chefs are watching in the kitchen. There were some kids crying next to their mothers, and their mothers' bodies dead, and they are crying on the street because their mothers had fallen dead. And I went back to these people. I'm trying to stop them, and they couldn't hear me. They refused to hear me. And the people who are monitoring, who had been sitting down at the diners, they came in the kitchen now, and they stood there. And when they stood there, they're standing there monitoring, just guarding the activity, making sure it is happening. They did not hear me. They did not hear me. Nobody heard me. Nobody listened to me. They did not hear me. They disregarded me. They never wanted to hear anything from me. Anything I said, they didn't pay attention. They continued killing people and killing people. I'm checking so that I don't forget anything. And then I continued saying no, but they continued killing many bodies. And I came to an understanding that these killings had been planned, that these people, these Chinese chefs, these Chinese people were working on a weapon of war. Yeah, oh my God. In my dream, I understood that this is a weapon of war. They're testing out a weapon of war. They're testing out a weapon of war. And in the dream, I came to understand that I was very senior. I was more senior than these people. I was more senior than these people, but they did not hear me. Initially, in the dream, it seems like I had an agreement. I had some kind of an agreement with them, fabricating and creating a weapon of war that is not so expensive and would kill very quickly. But I did not think they would do this to just, regular people. They would be killing citizens. They would be killing innocent people, like a cleaner in a restaurant. Yeah, and so I was terrified, and I was telling them, no, we cannot continue doing this. And right now I'm feeling the terror in my stomach. I'm feeling it, honestly. And I came to understand that I was very senior. I was more senior than them, and this was an agreement between myself and them. But it came to that time that I started refusing and saying no. But because there was investments, I understood in the dream that there were investments that had been made by those people who had been sitting down watching, ensuring that this activity was actually taking place. They had made investment, and they were not going to let it go like that. Yeah, they were not. It's like they had a target. They wanted to see, I don't know what they wanted to see, but there was a target. There is a number of people they wanted to see dead. And so this poison, because I understood when that powder, when I saw it, I knew this powder is coronavirus. And so when they were putting in the food, I knew they're mixing coronavirus. Yeah, I understood that. And leadership, I won't, there's some things I've said here I don't think I want to say right now. But the substance that was in tea, in food, was created as a weapon of war. This was my understanding in the dream. And coronavirus is not an accident. May God help us. May God have mercy, because this can be stopped instantly if they want it to stop.